Skarsgård. Made a lot of movies and had a lot of Skarsgårds. 8 big Skarsgårds, 10 feet tall. Sweet, sweet Skarsgårds, cherubs all. Alex Skarsgård, firstborn son. 6'4" and a bundle of fun. Star of Succession and true love and the giver. Push him to the chest, little alley with the liver. Alex Skarsgård, don't you know? And along came Gustav, hidey-ho. Gustav Skarsgård, next in line. Westworld, Vikings, up and high. 6'4", don't you know? And along came Samuel, hidey-ho. Oh, you don't know Sam? Well, that's alright. He's a 6'5" doctor, saving lives. Dr. Skarsgård, don't you know? And along came Bill, hidey-ho. Billy Skarsgård, Pennywise, 6'4", big surprise. Nosferatu, a vampire row. The brothers Skarsgård, they love them so. Listen, Billy Skarsgård, don't you know? And along came Iha, hidey-ho. Dr. Iha doesn't do acting. At 5'10", she's into casting. Casting Skarsgård, don't you know? Iha, call us for your shows. Walter, Ossian, and Kolbjorn, the youngest Skarsgårds, truly born, truly tall and ash. It's the Skarsgård way. We hope they have a Skarsgård day. Skarsgård, 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 don't you know? Skarsgård, 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 howdy-ho.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast presented by Amazon Prime. It's Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. I want to give a standing O to that cold open. That was incredible. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Skarsgård.
Yeah, I wish I was acting right now. Let's talk about basketball, the greatest game of them all, and maybe changing the rules to make it even better.
Oh, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Ayo, don't you know?
Ayo, don't you know? And last but not least, over yonder, making the magic like that cold open happened, super producer JD.
400 seconds to the topic, the first topic. Going for the record, boys.
Wow. Wow. That was gold, though. I like when you see one we've never seen before, too. It's new to me. I had not.
This. Well, yeah. Okay. I was going to cut it up, but I was like, why? Why? It's perfect.
There are 8 Skarsgårds.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I thought Bill was the last Skarsgård.
So did I.
I was happy to know him.
Skarsgård. All right, on today's show, we're going to tee up tonight's Game 4 in Indianapolis. We got some NBA headlines to dissect and the prime moment of the week. It's a fun one. But first, let's talk basketball, Tass. OKC reestablishing itself as the NBA's top title contender with the very entertaining 128-126 win over the Timberwolves last night. Very entertaining for 47 minutes and 30 seconds. We'll get into the whole fouling part. But the Thunder now lead the series 3-1. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 40 points, 10 assists, 9 boards for the MVP, while Anthony Edwards on the other side held to just 16 points. He had very few field goals in the first half. But in the end, Thunder get it done. Where do you want to start? You start with the big three of OKC, them shutting down Ant. Other parts of this game, where do you want to go?
You have to start with Ant here in the semifinals. Back to the wall, down 2-1 in a very, very important game. He didn't perform to his abilities. He didn't force the refs to make calls by driving to the hoop. Of course, OKC is good at swarming him, but he didn't perform. He was not the Anthony Edwards. We're all wondering if he will show up. He's 23. Maybe he will show up in a couple of years, but this just wasn't his game. And I know it goes hand in hand with Julius Randle. Both those guys not performing to their capabilities whatsoever. Randle, way more turnovers than buckets, 5-1. Anthony Edwards, the same amount of turnovers as buckets. It is wild that you mentioned, it went down to the wire considering those numbers, because it is wild to think about what Minnie did end up winning in terms of stats in this game. Fast break points. Threes. They hit more freaking threes. Problem was their bench hit double the amount of threes that their starters did. Points in the paint. They won so many of the categories, but when it comes down to it, what Anthony Edwards said after the game was everything. He said, quote, "They outplayed us, out-rebounded us, got more of the 50-50 balls, wanted it a little bit more." Now, they didn't out-rebound them, but they did want it a little bit more. It's totally true. This game had OKC taking 12 more shots in the first half. Just think about that. A team takes 12 more shots. How are you going to win? How are you going to beat the best team? They had 11 offensive rebounds in that first half to 6 for the Wolves. The Wolves turned it over 12 times, while the Thunder only turned it over 7. Minnie was playing good in terms of shooting. Offensively, they're shooting well, 50 and 44, but you just couldn't get down like that. And then they kept fighting back. It was miraculous to see Dante DiVincenzo and Nickeil Alexander-Walker splashing threes to get them back. Those guys both score over 20. Jaden McDaniels scores over 20 to get them close, to get them to a tie freaking game multiple times in the second half. But it's just the way they started and the way their top two guys led their team without really leading their team. That really came down to that. I mean, they got down and they couldn't make up for it. That's it.
Yeah, it just shows you the importance of your stars in the playoffs. That's all that really happened in this game. Minnesota got 64 bench points. Jaden McDaniels, like you mentioned, 22. Rudy Gobert was kind of effective, kind of sloppy at times, but one of his better offensive games. I would say 6 of the 9 Timberwolves who played pretty well. Mike Conley didn't really do much either, but the stars in Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards, 21 points on 20 field goals, 9 assists, 10 turnovers. You look at OKC, I thought their role players played well, but not big scoring nights. Caruso had 10, Wallace had 7, Isaiah Joe did a couple of nice things, but they got 95 points from their big three of Shai, J-Dub, and Chet. They shot 51% from the field combined. They had 16 assists to 8 turnovers. 8 stocks for them as well, blocks and steals, making plays on both ends of the ball. And this is really like the vision for the Thunder. This was a perfectly played game for their big three. It's the most points that any trio has ever scored for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And guess what? They had a pretty good trio once upon a time. Yeah. But Shai was awesome, 40, 9, and 10. I felt like he had the answer to every Minnesota surge when they were making their runs. J-Dub was hot from the start, finished with 34 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. I thought the Thunder did an awesome job of running second side actions for him that were occupying the defenders, which makes it a little easier for Shai. Gets J-Dub great shots in the spots that he likes to play down the stretch. It was just J-Dub and Shai running pick and roll for each other. Didn't matter who was handling the ball. Just mattered where the defenders were. They were able to score effectively. And then Chet, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 3 blocks. He finishes the plays. Great cutter. He ended up with a lot of dunks in this one. Some big defensive playmaking as well from him. Just a great performance by the big three of the Thunder and nothing from the big two of the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I loved, when so much attention is paid to SGA and J-Dub, it is paramount that the rest of those Thunder guys hit open shots, consistently, and they did in this game. I think it was something like, of Shai's 10 assists, 8 of them were on three-pointers, and the other one was Chet Holmgren with his foot on the line. Yep. So it was like basically a three-pointer. It was like a very deep two. So many of those Wolves load up in the gaps, but he's finding these guys, and they're finally hitting them here in Game 4. Because they were a really good three-point shooting team during the regular season. It's something we talked about. At some point, their threes are going to start falling with some consistency, and just, methodically played by SGA. Just the perfect balance of scoring, putting on the pressure, and then setting up guys. And man, J-Dub, I looked at that game as like a bookend game, because he started the game awesome for them, right? Came out, scoring right away. He hit, he hit 5 of his first 6 shots, scored 13 in the first quarter. A lot of those were three-pointers. He also had that very pretty left-hand layup where he scooped it high off the glass. So he started the game great, and then he ended just as strong. Huge plays in the fourth quarter for J-Dub, 14 points on 5 of 7 shooting in the final frame. So, awesome game from him. And then, Chet, what a block on McDaniels. That may be...
Big time.
That was a huge play in this game where there were multiple just big plays, especially the Wolves. Like you said, they always had an answer. Yeah. They always had a corner three, always. And it was SGA or J-Dub or Chet coming back on the other end just to give them the breathing room. When you got down the stretch there, when things got tight, they always seemed to have a big shot from one of those 3 guys or a big defensive play in Chet's case.
Yeah, Chet, to be able to cover that Jaden McDaniels drive, spin with 40 seconds left, stuck with him every step from the three-point line to the rim to seal it. That was it. That was a beautiful thing to watch. Has to be mentioned along with Jalen Williams. Those 2 guys to support Shai Gilgeous-Alexander were monstrous. And yeah, you went through some of the numbers of their role guys, Trey. They weren't exactly needed when you get your top 3 balling the way they did. And so that was the huge difference. Jalen Williams just came out, the secondary action and the open 3-point shots, he was coming to play.
They didn't hesitate, either of those guys. But, as Shai's, he's the MVP. You're never worried about that. J-Dub, no hesitation. Chet, a guy that we've questioned a few times, even in this postseason run. There's been games where we get on here and go like, is he a little shook? Are the lights a little too bright? I know this is sort of new for him. He hasn't a lot of postseason experience. Not in that game. It was like the confidence is just growing and growing with him. He's the one to me, really blossoming here in this postseason run, even maybe more than some of the other guys. And again, it's probably just because he's had less games in the postseason.
The only criticism you would have of Chet is that he doesn't rebound very well. And you saw that happening in the fourth quarter. No Hartenstein playing, and the Wolves started kind of crushing it on the glass. He's a skinny guy, so he needs some help from the guards rebounding, and that's why they went and got Hartenstein in the summer, because they wanted to beef up their rebounding. But, I mean, he's taking threes when they're there. He is a good offensive rebounder, had that nice tip dunk in the fourth quarter as well, but 34 points combined from J-Dub, Shai, and Chet, and it's like you're getting 9 from Chet Holmgren, and he's barely even a focus offensively.
Yeah.
He played incredibly well. The Thunder were smart to go with a small ball lineup. It just makes it a little bit tougher for Minnesota to keep up, and I mean, this was a close game. It was there for the winning, but still somehow Oklahoma City never gave up the lead in the second half. There was not a lead change in this game the second half.
Yeah, they were totally even-keeled. Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams, who, yes, I mean, they've had a little playoff runs, but they haven't had this much playoff success. So you'd think at some point maybe, will they start to win? Will the lights be too bright, as you brought up there, Skeets? But no.
They're getting more and more comfortable is what I'm seeing through this entire process.
They had to bench Chet 3 minutes into this series.
Yeah.
They're like, you're not playing well enough. They brought in Cason Wallace, and he juiced them up. And then Chet has been awesome since the second half of game one.
Yeah, I thought Cason Wallace was important in this game when there was 2 broken plays. And it's just a scenario where Cason Wallace gets the ball. I mean, he has to be the break in case of emergency. He has to be, and he did. That's what exactly he was, multiple times, and offensive boards. He was just that perfect. Throw that guy out there. He can be, the 5th guy on a championship team. He just was that exactly in this case. Well, on the other side, we can go through all the things. I thought Chris Finch putting Dante DiVincenzo on Shai in that first half was a mistake. Shai loves that matchup, and he went away from it in the second half, and it was just Nickeil Alexander-Walker who was the best defender on Shai, even though, there's not really an answer for Shai. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he will be mentioned again and again and again that he is his cousin. He does know him. I mean,
holy man.
Yeah,
okay, we got it.
Yeah, everybody complaining. But listen, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, that's his game of his career in the postseason. That was awesome to be able to do that. He was really good. I thought Dante DiVincenzo was, even though he hit those threes, he was sloppy. And so they're looking for another point guard. That's what this Minnesota Timberwolves will be looking at in a couple months when we're looking at who they are and what they are. They got to the conference finals last year. They need somebody to replace Mike Conley. In all honesty, they needed a ball handler to be able to do something to get into the lane, and Jaden McDaniels was chipping in. Nickeil Alexander was their backup point guard, and I guess that's what the Rob Dillingham trade up for him in the draft to get him was for, because that was what they're hoping.
Yeah, especially when the defense loads up on Ant, gets the ball out of his hands. Like Ant, we are crapping on obviously not a lot of shot attempts and not a great scoring game, but a lot of times making the right play.
Yeah.
A lot of those corner threes created by him, so doing that, but I'm with you, because, their secondary ball handler, it turns into Julius Randle a lot of the times. And against this team, it's like he puts the ball on the ground, zoom. It's like they attack right away. And that's why, he was brutal, very bad in this game. It got in his head. Yeah, give him a call.
Julius, here, it's Coach Finch. I think it's kind of odd that you don't play well in even-numbered games. Feel free to show up, not every other game. Okay, call you back, bye.
Yeah.
He was brutal. He didn't do anything, and he was completely taken out of the game. I do think it's changed from his New York days. His New York days, if he was playing poorly, he would kind of press and try to get things going. In this one, he admitted afterwards, I was just standing around and watching out there, spectating, just playing for catch-and-shoot jumpers. We're talking about the need for another point guard. Absolutely, that's true. Conley didn't really give him much last night, but Julius Randle is supposed to be the secondary playmaker. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams are seeing similar coverages to Anthony Edwards. Look what Jalen Williams was able to do last night. And honestly, look what Shai was able to do last night. Sure, Ant had 6 assists. That's cool. He had 5 turnovers as well. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 40 points and 10 assists. There's a way to blend your playmaking and your scoring that Ant really hasn't figured out yet, because this is exactly what they did against Dallas last year. They took him out of the game by throwing everybody at him, by making him see a whole bunch of bodies in the gaps, and he's just not able to process the playmaking versus scoring aspect of things. I agree. He made some great passes to the corner, but those, like we've talked about a million times, are the passes that Oklahoma City wants him to throw because they think they can challenge. Minnesota knocked him down last night. That's why this game was close. But Ant's got to figure out a way to be effective as a playmaker and a scorer at the same time.
He even said it after the game. They played him pretty similarly to how they did in games 1 and 2. OKC did. Like loading up, Chet ready for the help, and him trying to just become a playmaker. Now it was closer because, all these guys were hitting shots. They were hitting all these threes. That's why we had a close game, unlike games 1 and 2 where it sort of got out of hand there and the Thunder pulled away in those third quarters. But, he does need, of course, look, with Shai, with the Thunder, I should say, coming into the postseason, all we wondered was, will his co-stars be there to carry him in games to obviously go far in the postseason? And they are. They're starting to like get better and better in J-Dub and Chet. And now we see it like Ant's going to need that as well. It can't all be Ant. Like, do you want him just to like start forcing the action and driving in there? Maybe at times, maybe when you want to stop the bleeding. But again, they were scoring. That wasn't the issue at all. They scored a ton of points against the best defense all year. That's a lot of points. They just couldn't. They could not stop them. And I didn't love his defensive impact. Like, did Ant do anything even on that end? No. And then along with the turnovers, of course. So.
Yeah, well, it was the extra possessions, really, that got them in that big hole. Yeah. These offensive boards, even after misses, even after they were able to play good possessions. Yeah. You'd look at Rudy Gobert's numbers. He only had 2 defensive rebounds. Is that Rudy's fault? Nah, it's not really Rudy's fault. He had to go out onto the perimeter to guard guys. But there was a hunger level that was needed. And I think sometimes it just comes from your best star being that guy who forces things a little bit. I think he needed to go and say, hey, referees, call something. I'm bumping into these guys. Because those guys were swarming on him, there's no doubt. But he just was a little reluctant. And, it carried over onto the defensive end, mainly with offensive glass. You just can't give extra shots. I mean, that's what that first half was. They got into this hole. And, you got miraculous performances from 3 guys to get 66 combined from Jaden McDaniels, Dante DiVincenzo, and Nah. That's a lot of freaking points. They needed to force a little bit more from their lead guys.
Their bench hit 12 threes. like Minnesota should have won this game. You ran down all the stats that they led in this game. The only things that were really a problem were the turnovers, which were bad. But
they were bad.
I think Minnesota scored more points off of turnovers than OKC did in this game. Their 2 guys didn't show up. And that's really what it comes down to. 3 did for the Thunder. 2 didn't for Minnesota. Game over.
I mean, credit to Dort and Caruso for obviously containing, slowing down, whatever, stopping basically Anthony Edwards. That's just complete face guarding him. It's all effort, fighting through everything, staying with an arm on him at all times. Like, it's like we sit here and go, oh yeah, everybody should be able to do that. They can't. No, these are like some of the rare guys in the league that can actually do it. They happen to have 2 of them on their same damn team. Dort does it, maybe gets into foul trouble. It's okay. We bring in Caruso to do it maybe even better. It's like it's just embarrassment of riches with those 2 guys. And then, of course, Casey Wallace even gets matched up at times. Now it's like this speedy little guy. Just awesome job.
Okay, but I think you would also say that McDaniels is a great defender, right? Anthony Edwards is theoretically a good defender. He's best on ball. People talk up Nickeil Alexander-Walker as a defender. They didn't have the same impact that the 3 defensive guards did for OKC. I agree they're a level ahead, but Minnesota should be a good defense. Yeah. They still gave up almost 140 last night.
No, they could not stop them
at
all.
Dagnott made the calculation. Let's face guard them, and that would allow the corner threes to be totally open because you face guard them, you can pick them towards the middle, and then those guys in the corners were wide open. And they obviously came through, but they just got in such a deficit. This Minnesota team loves to get down. That's what they did throughout the regular season, and that's when they fight back. That's the characteristic of some people out there. It's my character trait. I love getting pushed to the wall. That's when I act. That's when I react. Maybe Minnesota wins Game 5. I wouldn't be surprised if they won Game 5, but to win 3 in a row, come on, that's way too hard against this team that's found their way.
Extremely entertaining game. Like one of the best games, like front to back of the postseason. I know there are a couple good ones in Clippers Nuggets. Obviously, we had some great Nuggets Thunder games. Like we've had some wild endings. Of course, the Knicks comebacks and all that. But it's on the short list here of this postseason. Like at one point, I'm like, we're always taking our notes and doing all that. I'm like, in the third quarter when the shot making was going nuts, I'm like, what? I'm just gonna enjoy this. I just like close the damn thing. I'll just like rewatch it in the morning. So it's just so good. until we get into the fouling up three. And we can get to that in a second. But start random notes here or anything else, TK, from this game. Do you believe, Tess? Like, do you think the Wolves could get this back to Minnesota? And
No,
give
it's
us a
over.
Game 6? You
I think it's over
on,
for sure, yeah.
On what night is that?
They're going back to OKC.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
thank you, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably. Yeah, I don't know. I will never count out this Wolves team. I'm counting them out from winning the series. It's too hard. It's too hard to overcome. You had it here. You had it. You can lose both games in OKC, but you had to come through in Game 4, and the guys did. The role players play better at home.
Yeah.
God, they did. They
did.
They were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They were so good, but their top two guys were not quite there.
They went 38 for 82 from 3 in Minnesota. They won one game in a blowout, and then they were close in another one. Honestly, they're going to regret this one, is what it's going to come down to. They didn't shoot the ball very well at all in Oklahoma City, so they need to play as well as they did last night, plus get performances, at least from one of their stars.
One of their guys,
Yes.
yeah. That's the thing. It's like they both were bad or quiet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Bad.
Yeah,
They were bad.
they were bad.
You can say it.
What else you got from this?
I liked Doris Burke's call on nearly starting World War III. I don't know much about history, but I know the French and Germans don't like one another. And Rudy says, "Bonjour, Mr. Hartenstein. Have a little bit of that left-handed dunk." One of the craziest calls you've ever heard.
Yeah, just going deep in the textbook there.
Going deep in the textbook. Not that deep.
No, not really
Not that deep. This is a pretty well-known throwdown.
Yeah, for sure. I will say, Doris, we skipped over Game 3 in terms of analyzing it just because it was on Saturday night, but she was bringing it in that game too. I did think there was an offensive rebound where Rudy grabbed the ball and she said, "Rudy doesn't have good hands." Like, to come out and say that, she doesn't usually go that way. She's usually
You're right.
extremely positive.
Yeah.
So she literally said Rudy doesn't have good hands. That was kind of surprising. But anyway, the whole French-German thing, that was weird. Just weird.
These three have been brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wrong. We had high hopes for this three. I thought it'd be way better. And maybe it just takes time. I don't think so, though. It just does not work. Breen, Burke, and RJ, it is like, I don't know, feels like a March game to me. It just does not have the gravitas, or it's not as fun or as entertaining as I thought it would be. So I'll take a big L on being wrong on this one. I
yeah,
have not been impressed by this.
Not a
by
great
this
mix.
Group. I'm sorry.
Feels like a regular season game when you're watching it.
Yeah.
One thing I was impressed by, and why you gotta watch the in-game arena stuff, I thought their intro video was awesome. I thought the Wolves intro video, the cut, the edit, the pace of it, it's good. The color they put on it, the music. It's Kendrick Lamar, so the music is just good. That adds to it.
No Young Gravy?
No. They tossed that. They got rid of that. They dumped that
You have
down
no
the
idea
drain.
how much Young Gravy we played in the Classic Factory after yesterday's show. After Taz brought him up.
We got to know the gravy.
Yeah, we were drinking the gravy. We were listening to like 60% of 5 different songs.
That all sort of sound the same.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't realize Glenn Powell was doing a Jelly Roll impersonation here, but that's what Young Gravy is. He's too handsome to be doing these songs.
Jelly Roll's hot, man.
Jelly Roll's hot.
I will say, he's hot. Like, you're looking at me like considering him hot.
He's a handsome man.
buzzing. He's buzzing.
No, the music is just.
Gotcha.
Young Gravy's hot.
That's what I
He's
thought.
hot.
Yeah, Young Gravy is.
I do kind of like how every single team now in the playoffs is bringing back all their old heads. Patrick Beverly was there.
Yeah, he was firing the t-shirt gun, was he not?
Yeah.
Or at least throwing something.
The Wolves legend. He didn't jump onto the scores table this time, but yeah, I like how they bring him back. There's
cool.
It gets everybody going, that's for sure.
Would you like to see the Thunder bring back KD, Westbrook, and Harden? Should they be there for a possible clinching game to go to the NBA Finals? They eliminated Westbrook.
They ain't coming back.
No, Trey likes it.
I mean, we're talking about their best players in their franchise history.
Yeah.
I'm not totally against it.
Okay.
Nick Collison at least should be there.
Yeah,
Have they
yeah.
showed that guy at all yet?
No.
No. Does he work for the
I
Thunder?
thought he was somehow an employee or an ambassador or something.
I think he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he is there.
Yeah, the Browingtons should be around. Jeff Green, perhaps.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, he can go.
Yeah, he can be there for sure.
Who's retired from the Thunder? Kevin Martin? Like, bring back Kevin Martin. Let's see what that guy's up to.
Yeah, it is an issue. They're all still playing.
Still got to yell at a lot of guys that
A
are
lot
still
of them
around. Ibaka? I guess he could come
Kendrick
back.
Perkins, I guess.
Perk, yeah.
Yeah. He's there.
He'll be there.
What else do you have? Random notes. Did you see the free throw merchant guy with his sign Let's
Yes,
show it here.
yes.
This made me laugh. Okay, whatever. They're doing the whole free throw merch. Look at the little drawing.
The stick man.
Like I hope his kid did that. It just made me laugh. He decided to add that in. What a sign. What an insane chant too. But they're trying to get under his skin. I appreciate that. I respect that. We already brought up the broadcast. Stop telling us SGA and Nickeil Alexander-Walker are cousins, please. We got it.
These guys are cousins.
We got it. I
hadn't seen that picture though. That was new. The picture of them as babies or as like kids. Like they're 3 or 4.
Right.
So they're actually cousins. That's real. That was not AI. That was a real photo.
Okay, good.
Had never seen it. I was unseen.
Was it a new one? Because they showed the picture of like their 2 headshots next to each other.
That's the only one I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen it a ton of times.
Like
They showed it
current
a
headshots?
ton of times during game 1 as well.
Their current headshots? Or
No, like
No,
a picture.
they're
It looks
kids.
like they're sitting on a couch or something together.
Oh.
Yeah, they've showed it a lot.
Yeah.
There's only
They
one
weren't on a
photo.
couch.
That
They
is
were
this.
There's one photo of them together.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it. Well, they weren't on a couch, so maybe it's a different one. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see.
Probably the same one.
Let's get into one of the hot topics from last night, at least on the internet. We'll use Sean Fennessy's tweet here to get us started because there was this sentiment of the fouling up 3 strategy that OKC implemented in this game and successfully, if we're being honest. In the end, it turned into a free throw contest. Quote from Fennessy: "The NBA needs to do something about intentionally fouling up 3. It's the worst possible experience for end of game enjoyment." End quote. Again, TK, a whole lot of this. Do you agree? If so, do you have ideas to fix it? Or maybe you're like, it's okay. And in fact, we've already seen it this postseason backfire on the Thunder, who did it in that loss to the Nuggets, where they probably did it too early and obviously missed free throws. What's your take on all this?
I agree that it's boring. Super boring to watch it come down to free throws at the end, but it always comes down to free throws at the end. And my worry would be that if they get rid of this fouling down 3 and put some sort of rules about it, about when and where you can foul, depending on time and score, it'll rob us of the rare actual comebacks that happen in scenarios like this, because they do happen. I mean, we've seen the Pacers pull off 3 comebacks where they were down 10 points in less than a minute. If you're taking away their fouling strategies, do those not happen? Maybe. I don't know. There's got to be a better way. Should we just get rid of all free throws, period? That would be the dream. Nobody likes watching free throws. Literally nobody. But it was annoying. It just takes the wind out of your sails. You're like, ooh, is the guy that shoots 90% going to finally miss one right now? Shai did. He did miss one down the stretch, but then he made the other 5 of 6 that he took.
Yeah. And of course, Dagnall leans into like, okay, we're up 3. Well, just foul Naz Reid. He's catching it, just foul him right away. Like, we'll live with him going to the free throw line. And then you get into, like, obviously then they have to decide, well, when are we going to try and miss a free throw on purpose? And near the end, they did miss one. And, SGA got it and then chucked it away. And then the guy caught it out of bounds. And then they decided there was 0.3 seconds left. It was just sort of an odd little ending to this game as well. Doris getting upset with the guy catching it, too. Like he's Steve Bartman. Goddamn ball thrown to him on the sidelines. The game was also over. But anyway, back to the fouling up 3 strategy. As a viewer, do you hate it? Can you live with it? Do you want the Elam ending? Do you want to get nuts? Like, what's your take?
Well, if I'm in the league office, I do think let's call Sharif Abdur-Rahim, the president of the G League, and say we're employing this next year to give it a shot in the G League to see how it works. Okay. It will be sort of few and far between, I guess, in games, because how often does this happen? Not a lot.
Not tons.
But you got to give it a shot. I get it. I mean,
and what do you mean by giving a shot? What do you think is the solution to the fouling up 3 thing?
Well,
when the defense is doing that because they have the lead.
The whole Nate Duncan suggestion that he was also doing the tweets last night, and he suggested that if the shot clock is off, that a team literally can't intentionally foul beyond the 3-point line, and if so, they get the ball and free throws.
One shot in the ball.
One shot in the ball.
That's what he said. He said to eliminate the smart play of fouling up 3 is that it should be 1 shot and the ball if you foul outside the 3-point line up 3 with the shot clock off. That was Nate Duncan's idea.
I guess.
So you're saying though, try it. Give it a go in the G League where we give
that's what we do. That's what
decision.
It's for. I understand the NBA is looking at the NFL and saying, well, we could be more exciting than that. Like our guys don't need to kneel at the end of the game. It's so boring. because the NBA is that exciting. Minute to minute, is it the most exciting sport in the game? In the world, I should say. Probably, I would say so. But minute to minute, I know it's like I know it's annoying. Yeah, like the most exciting sport per minute. It's like asking like, who's the best fighter per pound. Because
Most
it is
points
that
per minute. So maybe
Yeah, I was
you're
gonna
right.
say
Yeah.
there is a lot of scoring.
There's a lot of scoring, obviously, yeah, and things can end. It's not soccer that you can be a 4-0 game, right? Or it's not football where a guy's kneeling at the end of the game. So I would try it out. It doesn't take away from these teams coming back. I don't. Maybe yes, maybe no. I mean, so that's why we're gonna try it out.
I mean,
I have no real answer.
Look, what we're getting at here is we just said this game was awesome. It was for like 47 minutes or whatever. It was like, this is an incredible basketball game. The shot making, the defense, the drama, the MVPs on one side doing well, the other guys trying, all this, all the narratives, all the stories. But then it happens, and we've seen it happen, is like these good basketball games just get super anticlimactic. And you said it, Trey. It's like suddenly just like, can a good free throw shooter just hit his free throw? And it's like, that's a skill. I mean, and he did miss one. And also, maybe as the defense, anybody but him, you could put 3 guys on Shai and leave somebody else open, and maybe, whatever. There's strategy to it all, and you can screw it up, but it's just not as fun. It's just like, go watch, you know how the NBA clips like the wild ending to the game. Go watch last night's. It's a 10-minute clip, and the game time they show you is something like 2 minutes. Because this is them editing crap out too. It took so long because of all of this, because the foul is basically going both ways. So that's not good. It's not a good product. It isn't, unless you're like a free throw sicko.
I've only ever known one.
Exactly,
in my life.
we know one
Literally
in our life.
one.
But it's just not, especially for casuals and even diehards, where it's like, oh, we want entertainment, we want it to be decided on tough shots and stuff like that. So I get it, but I like the idea of trying one of these rules. Hell, if you want to go Elam ending, I think that has complications as well. That could end on free throws too, and you could get into different scenarios there. But I'm with you. Try stuff in the G League and see if it gives us a better product. And if it does, then you bring it up.
We'll be at Summer League most likely in 6 weeks. We can try it there.
Try it there.
It'll happen. Maybe.
We're
once.
in Summer League in 6 weeks? My God.
Shit. Time flies.
Holy
Wow,
moly.
that's pretty soon, huh? Nice.
The days are long, but the months are short.
Let's hear from you when it comes to the intentionally fouling up 3. Do you hate it? Can you live with it? A lot of counters are like, well, don't be down 3, to the team
good one.
that's upset.
Yeah,
That's
true.
fair. Absolutely fair. What's your opinion on it? I know you're letting us know in the stream team right now. Continue the conversation in the YouTube comments, and you can tweet at us as well at NoDunksInc.
I don't like free throws, but now I'm starting to think of the team that ends up being fouled, like OKC in this scenario, who were freaking money from the line. But if you're an arena and you're watching the opposing team go to the line, you're kind of excited. You're like, all right, we're going to make this guy miss. That kind of, it is sort of exciting. Play stops. It's not quite like a wedgie playing where the play stops and you can just admire it, but it's, it is boring.
There's pressure.
It's
pressure.
nobody, but you're like, nobody's upset with that part of this
Yeah.
full strategy. It's the flip side of it. It's the team
Yes.
that is on
I
defense that is up 3 points, that is like decided because the numbers seem to work out in their favor, especially if you have a decent free throw shooting team. Hey, instead of letting this guy, because all these guys can shoot threes now and they're so damn good at it, and they can pull from 35, instead of getting Damian Lillard or whatever, or Haliburton or whoever, just foul him.
Yep.
And that's not as exciting. It's just not. We want to see the crazy Haliburton shot bounce up and go in. They could have fouled.
Should have fouled him.
Actually, no, they couldn't
a
because they
2-point
were down
game.
2 and he was
Yeah.
online. Anyway, but let's hear from you. Man, we could go on all day about this.
Maybe the NBA should just get more lenient with giving players the 3-point attempt when they're going for the foul. Because in general, if a player's going for like the intentional foul, even if they chuck it up, you're not getting that call very often. Maybe they should say, we're calling it. Continuation
it's
goes.
funny you say that because I thought, maybe this is a little body language doctor here, I thought that the Wolves were a little upset with Naz Reid because they had a foul to give. So that Thunder foul. I think they fouled Naz, actually. Then it went back to Naz on the side, and I thought they were a little upset. The Wolves were like, hey, man, turn and pretend you're going to shoot at least because maybe you'll get the 3-point call. Now, he didn't sort of at all. He sort of just caught it. It was a smart, quick foul. And then, of course, we had the Anthony Edwards one where that one they're bringing it up the court. And they're like, okay, just when he gets around half court,
Yep.
he's probably not going to pull from there.
Caruso played it perfectly.
Right.
Broadcast went nuts for that foul.
Okay, here's another thing. If you want to like try and fix this without changing any rules, these guys got to get a lot better at missing free throws.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
we have talked to Brent Barry about this in the past. Years ago, he said that the Spurs used to, in practice, literally go through practice trying to miss free throws on certain parts of the rim so it would bounce certain ways. These guys are that skilled that they can do that, you know? Like, all right, hey, I'm gonna have it miss and it's gonna go to the right corner. So don't even pretend to line up and box out, but don't just sprint to the right corner. That's where the ball's going. I mean, you could, I guess, just continue to work on this. I know the ball has a mind of its own when it hits that rim sometimes, but they are that good. So maybe that's another way to defeat this.
That's a great point. I mean, that's one of the most exciting plays in all of basketball is the intentionally missed free throw that actually works out.
Yeah.
So if you ban this foul, that never happens.
Yeah. And we've seen people do the quick one off the front.
The rocket.
And sometimes that works.
Sometimes they just line up 6 inches to the right.
Yeah.
Shoot it normal. You're going to miss.
Oh, God.
Great stuff.
Talking free throws. Gotta love it.
We're talking free throws. 2 of 4 games after this series, we're talking free throws.
Well, there's been a lot of free throw talks when you consider any time SGA gets fouled, and we're talking about those.
Although we did skip over missed free throws by the Timberwolves. I mean, they missed 6 free throws overall, and they lose by 2 points. You know, Rudy shouldn't practice missing free throws. He should practice making them. It wasn't that bad. Rudy missed 3 of the 6 missed free throws. Randall missed 1. Anthony Edwards missed 1 plus another one, which doesn't really count. Although, the Thunder didn't shoot all that great from the free throw line either. Okay, that's
the
enough.
Loneliest place
That's
in the
enough
world.
free throw talk.
Okay, that's enough. Thunder up 3-1. Do you think it's a wrap there on Wednesday night, or can the Wolves maybe give us a game 6?
I got a couple more little random notes for you here. I like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander going through the legs of, was it Gobert? I don't know who it was, but he went through the legs and found Jalen Williams for a 3-pointer in the corner. And he intentionally went through the guy's legs, through the pass, but also his whole body went at least like a third of the way through the wickets. That was an incredible play. And to keep his foot stationary. The guy almost did the splits and then went through the legs. That was pretty cool.
That was amazing.
I like that.
Through the 5-hole. You think all his Canadian friends are like, oh, through the 5-hole.
You think they're just naming goalies in the locker room afterwards?
Yeah. Van Viesbroek. Nice.
Patrick Waugh. Would you name goalies or would you name scorers? I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder Luke Robitaille out there.
Yeah, I wonder what goal scorer in NHL history has gone through the 5-hole the most.
I bet it's Gretzky. I'm just willing to guess.
Maybe Ovechkin.
I'm going Alex. Well, Alex, he had the slap shots. He wasn't really a 5-hole guy. Wasn't going through the Rick Tabarachi or...
I mean, it's just probably Gretzky. It's like guessing Wilt Chamberlain. It's probably Wilt.
Yeah, it's true.
Also, Lou Dort drew 2 offensive fouls fighting over screens last night. He just goes horizontal.
He just chucks
himself horizontal. Very funny. And then last, we talked about it briefly. The fan catching the ball on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's like desperation heave at the end. He's sitting down on the ground, can't go through anybody's legs, so he just decides to chuck it, and a dude in the sideline catches the ball. Very cool. Stop the clock at 0.1 seconds. They show the replay. It looked like he caught it at 0.6 seconds. Yeah. And somehow they put 0.3 seconds back on the clock.
And never, from what I can recall, didn't explain it at all.
No.
They did discuss what they were doing, and they just decided on 0.3. I mean, did they just decide this game's over, but give them a chance to catch and shoot?
That's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah. Because 0.3 is obviously the least amount of time.
We're not giving you a full 0.6. Yeah, that's ridiculous because it's fan interference. But you should get a little bit more time back. It felt like.
Man. Did we ever get a good angle? I mean, people are crapping on that guy, but did he really reach inbounds to catch it? In his defense, I thought he stood up, and then the ball was coming at him, and he did catch it while he was standing out of bounds.
Yeah.
I don't think that's I don't know. I don't think he did anything wrong, in my opinion. I would have caught it. I know you would have caught it. You would have caught it. We all would have caught it. I'm sorry. You're not going to be like, oh,
you would have reached courtward in the biggest moment of the game. I don't believe that.
I don't think he reached on the court, I just said.
No, okay, so maybe he didn't theoretically cross that tiny line, but he was reaching towards the court. If the ball would have been a centimeter further to the left and it was in the court, it wouldn't have been any
if you're a
different.
Wolves fan, I mean, it was a brilliant move. He absolutely should try and do it. To get
So you think he did it on purpose?
I think he just instinctively grabbed a basketball.
See,
Like, if
I don't
chucked a
think
basketball at you,
I don't think your
it.
instincts would do that.
Oh, I disagree. I know I would do that. Are you kidding me?
Well,
If I tossed a ball at you right now, you're immediately going to catch it, Trey.
Not if I'm sitting courtside at a game.
okay.
Not if I'm sitting courtside at a
I
game.
disagree.
well, he was standing. New rule. Sit in your seat.
All sitting.
Yeah, okay,
that should
okay.
be instituted immediately.
He gave they were building a statue for that guy if they had pulled off a miraculous 3 there. Because he got them more time.
Yeah, he did.
just by catching it. I don't know what, I mean, did it just slip out of Shai's hands? Like, obviously he was just trying
great
to chuck
question.
it down. It was
Great
really
question.
weird.
Josh on the stream team, thank you for your super chat, says people keep complaining that the refs only put 0.3 seconds on the clock, but for some reason, no one's pointing out that the ball was off Rudy. Am I wrong? Did Rudy Gobert tip the ball when Shai was sitting down? Because, I mean, it looked like he just rears back and chucks it. Like he's probably trying to chuck it down to the
That's what I thought
middle
he was
of the
doing.
court, and it goes sideways to the left, so maybe Rudy tipped it,
Yeah.
which means that it should have been Thunderball.
Yeah, right. Game over. Anyway, it didn't matter in the end. Well, was it who inbounded the play at the end? Like the Heat
Julius
at the end?
Randle.
Julius Randle, which obviously came up a million feet short. But was that tipped by Holmgren? Or did he just throw the worst pass ever?
Yeah, I don't know. No idea.
Yeah, did they really show a replay?
No!
I don't know, yeah.
I don't remember them.
Didn't get there. Well, Julius Randle, I think, wanted to take a step back and get more room and get a little bit more momentum, but that fan was standing right behind him, so he couldn't. I just made that up. That fan was not there. But Julius Randle in that scenario, I think he actually should have taken a little step back because you've got a 7-footer on your face when you're trying to throw a ball 60 feet or whatever it is, 50 feet.
Well, at least give it some arc. I mean, I don't know if it was tipped at all. I mean, I'm guessing it was because it was so short. But then again,
was pretty short.
Mean, maybe he just flubbed it. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, they were gonna need like basically just like chuck it at the rim and hopefully somebody tips it in,
fun.
or you hope for a foul in that call.
It was fun to see Rudy fighting below the hoop because he thought an alley-oop was coming. So that was fun.
Yeah. Okay. What a game. What a game. Let's get in a little Is This News? I got some headlines for the guys here. Let's debate whether or not they're actually newsworthy. First one from Tim Bontemps of ESPN, our guy, Timmy Goodtimes. Aaron Nesmith, likely game time decision for Game 4 tonight. Tass, I'll start with you. Is this news?
This is news. I think it's good news for the Pacers for a couple reasons. Number one, your guy is fighting through an injury, and he is going to play. There's no doubt in my mind that he is going to play. If you're his teammates, you're going to see him on the floor. Of course, you're going to fight a little bit extra just because that guy is out on the floor for an injury that he played through, frankly.
He did come back.
In the last game. And the second reason why I think it matters is because he's got an injured ankle. I don't think he's going to bite for Jalen Brunson's pump fakes. He's going to stay on the ground. So, Jalen Brunson, call him a free throw merchant if you want. He will not be going to the free throw line because Aaron Nesmith, his main defender, won't be jumping
Because he doesn't trust his one ankle as much.
it's just
I like it.
I imagine he'll be playing.
Okay.
So that's pretty important here. The guy's kind of their lifeblood. He is their bloodline in this series.
He had a noticeable limp in the locker room after Game 3, but yeah, again, these game times, I guess he's listed as questionable. It's all the same thing.
Yep.
Like, he's a maybe here, TK. Could be the case of just how he feels in warm-ups tonight. Or they could just be playing us and he's going to go, like Tass said, and they just want to keep the Knicks guessing maybe a little bit. But what do you think?
He's going to play. Maybe he'll be listed as questionable. Maybe he'll be a game-time decision. But surely he'll at least try and gut it out. He came back and played in the fourth quarter. Didn't look very good when he came back in the fourth quarter. His 2 shots were inside the arc. Now, part of that is because New York wisely was trying to take away his 3-pointer, see if he could make a play on a bum ankle. He didn't look like he had much lift on either of his floaters in the lane, but Nesmith has played 98 minutes so far in this series. He's a plus 20, and the Pacers lead the series by a grand total of 2 points. So he is super valuable for him to have on the court. The game kind of flipped in Game 3 when he went out with his ankle injury. Indiana cruising kind of up until that point, and then just couldn't get anything going, couldn't get stops on the defensive end when he came back, didn't really have a rhythm. He's also been the main Brunson defender, like Tass is saying. Has it mattered? I don't know. Brunson is 10 for 20 against Aaron Nesmith, but he's better than Nembhard is. I think Shepherd will probably get the bulk of the minutes that go to anybody outside of Nesmith. Shepard's given them good effort. He's knocked down his very few three-point attempts that he's had, but of course you'd rather have Aaron Nesmith out there. So his availability, I think he'll be there, but what he's actually able to provide to the Pacers, we shall see.
Yeah, and how quickly, if he is limited, how quickly Carlisle, you're right, pulls him or goes to somebody else. If he's like limping out there and maybe getting exposed a little bit and just not giving you what we've come to love about this guy, like all the heart and hustle from Nesmith. But if the ankle's that bad, you say he returns, but a lot of that can be adrenaline in the moment. And then that thing, obviously the game ends and that thing can swell up and be worse after the fact. I get you. It's like, oh, well, he played in the game he got injured, but I think it does change a little bit.
Sure.
All that to say, I'm with you guys. He's going to give it a go at the very least.
He's going to give it a go. Yeah. He has been a miracle maker for this team throughout the postseason, shooting a ridiculous 53% from three in the playoffs. I mean, he is balling. So they need him shooting threes. Will it affect his three-point shot? I mean, the way he gets way up to shoot his three-point shot. Maybe, perhaps, but he's just kind of their guy. He's an underrated guy, just not talked about guy, but you need him out there, period.
Next headline, sticking with this series, though. This one from Shams yesterday. Tyrese Haliburton's dad allowed into Pacers home games. TK, John Haliburton is going to be in the building tonight, but he's going to be in a suite. He will not be sitting courtside. Is this news?
I guess this is technically news, and I think this is a fair slap on the wrist
think he
for
served his
John
punishment?
Haliburton. Yeah, I'm excited to say John Haliburton once again. He missed 8 games. He missed 8 games like he's a player. He missed 8 games, including, I will say, 2 hugely notable Tyrese Haliburton games. The big balls game and, of course, the choke game. So I think it's fine. He gets to come back. Apparently the Pacers weren't thinking, we're going to the conference finals, maybe the NBA finals. We're going to send this dad away for the entire time.
Right.
There's no way they thought they were going to be saying, go home for a month and a half. Don't watch your son in person playing in the NBA finals. So that's interesting, but I think it works out fine. He's in a suite. He's not going to be out there yelling at opponents. He's only going to be at the home games. This is fair to me.
Okay. For those that don't remember, Pops missed the entire second round playoff series against the Cavaliers following an on-court confrontation with Giannis at the end of Game 5 of that first round series, where he was hyped, coming out swearing at Giannis by all accounts, and that's why he got this punishment where he wasn't allowed to show up at these games. Tass, is this news, and do you think he has served his time here and can now see his son play even if he's way up in the suite?
Yeah, he ain't getting close to the floor.
No.
Like a good marriage, I think this is a good compromise by all parties here.
Yeah.
John Haliburton apologized immediately afterwards. He said he would never do that again. And so the team goes to him and says, okay, well, how about we sit you in a suite so that never happens again? I think everybody shakes hands and says, all right, that's a deal. We got a deal here. And I think it's good for also John Haliburton's wife, who I hope they have a great marriage together. But she was like right there when it happened. When he was bickering at Giannis Antetokounmpo, Giannis came up to him. They went forehead to forehead for a brief second.
It was crazy.
She was she was slack-jawed. Her jaw dropped. What is happening? She was wondering. And I think this is the best case scenario here. Yeah, he's handled it pretty well, I think. I don't know. John? Yeah, we'll say
you're
John.
Right. Okay.
He did apologize.
Giannis said they cleared the air. John apologized. Haliburton, Tyrese was like, yeah, I mean, sort of like called out his dad, to be honest. Like, that's sort of stupid, man. That was a bad look. And then, yeah, again, this is not the NBA. The NBA did not say John Haliburton couldn't come. It was the Pacers themselves as an organization that said, all right, you got to chill out here, John. You're waving your son's towel there. Maybe just take a moment, take a couple of games, but now he can get back in the building here. He will not be going to New York. Back to Madison Square Garden. He will not be allowed in road games, I guess. He should do like, was it Bobby Valentine, the manager back in the day, like got tossed from a game and then showed up in a mustache?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Haliburton should try that. John Haliburton.
For sure.
Like for Madison Square Garden.
They do have facial recognition technology there for Madison Square Garden, so you got to be careful.
Dolan!
But could he just buy a ticket?
I mean, I don't know.
And not tell anybody, just only tell Tyrese where he's sitting?
I would think so.
He could have easily been there. We have no idea.
Ooh.
Maybe they could have put him back courtside again. Just don't put him on the broadcast. Who's checking for John Haliburton?
Funny you said that. I was going to say, what's the over-under on John Haliburton shots tonight on the broadcast, TNT? How many, like, what do you set the line up? 1.5, 2.5? Like, we're going to see him in the suite.
Yep.
At least once.
Yeah.
But how many times do we go back to him? And part of that depends on how Tyrese is playing, I think.
Definitely.
If he's cooking, you probably see him more. Maybe he's struggling to see him more. I don't know. But
Yeah.
okay, let me set the line at 2.5.
Ooh,
2.5
that's high.
John Haliburtons. What do you got? Over or under?
2.5 Johns. I'm going under.
Do we count the pregame?
No,
They
you
have a short
don't.
pregame. They have a short pregame. I think we
short
should count
pregame.
it. Come on, we should count those 5 minutes. Okay, you're going under.
Okay, from the 8 o'clock hour until end of game. I think I'm under as well. I don't think that they want this to be the story.
Oh, but
Fair.
But TNT, man, what does TNT care? This is good.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great
Show
point.
them.
That's a great point.
I'll give me the over. Give me 3 John Haliburtons tonight.
3 John Haliburtons.
I don't know, they got to show ESPN that they do broadcast right. Because they're going to ESPN. I don't know. Is this their swan song or is this their audition tape?
Well, they already got the gig, I guess.
Sort of.
All right, final headline here. CBS Sports gives us this one. Gary Payton defends Mavs GM Nico Harrison after Luka Dončić trade. Trey Kirby, is this news?
No. This is just a man defending his friend.
Okay.
This would be like us saying, Matt's right. Sometimes you should drive on rumble strips. Everybody knows it's wrong, but it's still supportive.
What a callback.
I don't know. I think the most interesting thing that Gary Payton said is it wasn't Nico's call. It wasn't his decision. He made a decision on what he was told to do or what had to be done.
Yeah, I thought that was a
So
little...
will we ever hear the full story of how this came about? Who knows? It won't be for decades, honestly. Or at least until Nico Harrison is no longer the GM of the Mavericks. But they've got a relationship going back, Gary Payton and Nico. He says that Nico looks at him like Gary's the older brother in the relationship. So, of course, he's going to be supporting his guy.
Yeah, I reread those words multiple times thinking, is he giving something away by saying he's the president general manager? He can't make the calls alone. It wasn't his call. It wasn't his decision. He made a decision on what he was told to do or what had to be done. So then I read into it. Maybe that's Patrick Dumont or somebody in ownership that pushed him to do that. But then I say, it's Gary.
It's Gary.
He does like to talk,
Yeah.
and he is defending his friend. So I think that's probably what it is, and it was probably Nico Harrison's decision.
This was on Gary saying all this and standing for Nico on the Club 520 podcast.
Yeah, it
So
was.
shout out to Teague and that crew. He was saying this, and the other part that Gary Payton was saying was the idea of like, hey, the Mavericks aren't bad if everybody's healthy. He kept talking about that. Like, once they get their whole team healthy, Dallas is going to be a beast, to quote Gary Payton. So he's like also doing, like, he's doing both things, right? Like, okay, yeah, wasn't just Nico Harrison's decision to trade Luka. And, oh, by the way, it's not as bad as you say it is or think it is, even though he's wrong. It's still a dumb trade, in my opinion. But he's saying, we get all these guys healthy, they're going to be a really good team. So just wait.
Yeah,
So you're saying 2 things.
And he also was defending Jason Kidd as the coach. He basically said, I feel bad for him. And, with Jason Kidd, I'm sure there's been lots of rivalry throughout the day. So if he wanted to call out Jason Kidd, he could have. So probably it's just Nico Harrison's decision, is what I'm guessing here. Although the 520 podcast, great clip going around of Trey Murphy on the show talking to Jeff Teague saying, wow, I was at All-Star game. I was in the slam dunk contest. I got to have my parents there. That's probably one of my favorite moments of being in the NBA entirely. And then Jeff Teague says, my favorite moment is when they gave me Gatorade. I got to take stacks and stacks of Gatorade in my car. That was amazing. Good clip.
I watched that clip. Very funny. Whoever the
good.
co-host is was killing me in that clip.
Yeah.
Did you
So
see,
fun.
speaking of Gatorade, see Jaden McDaniels last night? I think he did the post-game press conference, unless this is an older clip and I hadn't seen it until last night. He's sitting there, he wraps up taking the questions.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he literally picks up the Gatorade because it's there for sponsorship reasons. He's like, can I have this? And then somebody says no. And he's like all bummed out.
Yeah, and he puts
he's
it
like,
back.
oh, all right, guess I'll grab my own.
Take it, man.
They
But
said,
like-
what, Gatorades for winners only?
Also, like, but I'm sure that Gatorade's been, like, it'd be warm. Why does he want the warm Gatorade?
Some people like room temp.
Yeah, my wife likes room temp, not Gatorade, but water and stuff like that. She'll even go one step further. She's now boiling water to then put in her, like, in her cup. and then lets it cool. I'm like, what?
Wow, it's like to purify it?
I guess so.
Get the
It's like to get it. I don't know. It's not to purify it. It's more to get it warm. She wants it warmer.
slightly warm water.
But that's like boiling water, but then you have to let it get back to normal temperature. It's very strange. What are you
Everybody
doing?
has different throat temperatures.
It's very weird to me. I'll drink a room temperature water. No problem.
But watch me. You're
But
crazy,
anyway.
bro.
I'd prefer a cold Gatorade to a room temperature Gatorade.
Will you do a Roy Hibbert chug of a room temp water like he did on that show yesterday?
It's tougher to chug a cold water, so yes, I will.
Oh, that's a great debate. Room temp versus colded drinks. I'm a room temp guy.
You're a room temp.
Colded. What do I
Colded.
I'm a room temper.
So you, okay,
I think I'm more on the room temp side too, actually.
you're on an airplane. They're coming around with water.
Yeah.
You asking for cubes or no?
I was on an airplane the other day. Got a club soda. Ice or no ice? Yes, please. I did get him. I did get him.
So you did get ice.
I did get him.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you get more water that way. The ice gets to melt. You get melted ice.
I do like chomping on ice.
Yeah, yeah.
I do like chomping on ice.
Big chomps. Yeah.
Big time chomper.
Okay. what about you on an airplane?
Well, airplane, I'm trying to get everything out of that price that I'm paying.
Sure.
So you better give me some ice.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
And I want the can of ginger ale on the side as well.
Oh,
like I'm
you're-
going to an old school malt shop and you give me the thing you mix my shake up in.
Oh, you're a pass me the can, like because you know they just
Full
want
can of ginger ale, please.
Oh, wow, they'll give it to you, but that's a nice bold move by you. Give me the can. I paid for that. All right, let's get into the prime moment of the week. Prime moment of the week. If you've ever questioned whether Timothée Chalamet was a true Knicks fan, just stop. This dude bleeds orange and blue, baby. On Sunday, the Oscar-nominated actor traveled to Indiana to watch his Knicks take on the Pacers in Game 3. And look at this look from Chalamet. He showed up looking like the bad boy of bowling. Yeah. Shout out to Pete Weber. Shout out to Rick Kenmore, who was doing a Pete Weber. Who do you think you are? I Wonka. My God, what a look from Chalamet. So props to him for supporting his team.
What is on his chain?
Yeah, he truly is, though. I was thinking about this. He's like our new age Jack Nicholson, this guy. Like this young, popular actor that loves his team. Jack had the Lakers, and Chalamet's got the Knicks, man. Props to this guy. Come on, no dunk, Chalamet.
He would be awesome. I would love to talk to that guy. I think he's a fascinating character, and you're right. We need this. Like, you think of the biggest courtside fans, and it's Jack Nicholson, who is he in his 80s probably at this point. Spike Lee
Getting
is
up there.
older now. Jimmy Goldstein, notable.
He's
He
180.
is also he has the combined ages of Spike Lee and Jack Nicholson. We need some young blood on the sideline. If this guy's he went to Detroit for a game. He went to Indiana for a game. He will legitimately travel to see his Knicks play. I love it.
Respect. The Prime Moment of the Week is presented by Amazon Prime. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into. Good stuff, Chalamet. And yes, open invite to come on No Dunks. All right, we'll call it there. Great stuff from the stream team here this morning. Heated debates about the game and that series, and obviously the fouling up 3 dilemma and all of our Is This News topics. Love to see it.
69% of people say they would have caught that ball.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very nice. I agree. I agree. And I would love to see, where's the Hawkeye camera on this guy, NBA?
That's right.
Did he cross the plane? Because if he did, that's a different conversation. I'm with you. But I thought that thing was coming at him. He also thought the game was over, as everybody did.
Of course.
Yes.
So
he
he's like,
did.
oh, this will be cool.
I'll
grab
catch
the
it.
ball.
I'll catch it. Yeah, get to keep it.
That'd be awesome. All right, hit the like button, subscribe if you thought this was a classic. Podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. We're back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern from the Classic Factory here to talk about hopefully another entertaining game in that awesome Eastern Conference Finals between the Pacers and Knicks. Will Chalamet be there again? And what will did he leave? Did he just go to St. Elmo's Steakhouse? Has he just been living there in Indiana?
What did Timmy Chalamet do in Indianapolis for a night?
Yeah, or did he maybe, I don't know, go somewhere and then come back?
He probably went somewhere and came back.
Yeah. Spike was not there in Game 3, was he?
He's been superseded. He's been traveling anymore.
Chalamet! He's been Chalamet.
Nav Baccia was there. was it the Knicks? He had a quick view of him on the baseline. Nabacha was
Raptors
there.
super fan. I guess he's supporting the boys.
And
OG
his-
and Siakam.
And his standard seat. He doesn't sit, sideline. He sits baseline. He had the same seats.
Oh, interesting. I didn't see him.
Yeah, it was
Good
Indy or the Knicks. That was one of them. But I'm pretty sure it was Indy, yeah.
Well, we'll be back tomorrow to talk about tonight's game. Hopefully it's another great one. Till then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, airplane ice is not sketchy. JJ Lynch. JJ Lynch on the stream team says airplane ice is sketchy. Okay. I disagree. It's just ice. It's just ice.
Airplane ice is ground ice, just put onto an airplane. Is it not?
You think it's frozen on the
I
ground?
don't think they're making the ice up there. But I have no idea to actually.
Yeah, how would
fact
they
check
do
that.
it? There's no way to do it.
If you're a stewardess, let us know. Do you make the ice in the sky, or do you just put it on? Which is what I think you do.
You think that sometimes that's why the plane is delayed at the end? Oh, Frank, can you run to the store and grab a bag of ice? We gotta fly an hour and a half here. They're like, there's a few plane malfunctions here. We gotta update your wings.
A lot of people don't know it's a co-captain's job to grab the ice.
Grab the ice.
All right, embrace the day, people.